Usually it's some variation of green tea, like maybe a lychee green tea or a peach green tea, but I get it 25% sweet. So it's like, just those.
I usually get 30, but that's 30? Good. Yeah,
that's cool.
That's a good level.
Can you do like 32%? Like
no,
when
Ryan. No, Ryan. Listen, Ryan
Don't
is
be a menace.
Listen.
I'm like 32%, actually.
I was like 89%.
Yeah. I consider myself a little Boba bougie, but that would be like
no, I'm more
level.
Curious.
Coming to you from Crunchyroll HQ, this is the Anime Effect. Each week, we bring you interviews with amazing people from across the world of anime, from directors to actors, artists, and more, to discuss their work and their anime faves. It's pop culture with an anime lens. We're so happy to be back. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I've missed doing this. I'm happy to be back. Happy New Year to everybody.
Happy New Year.
The interview that we have for this episode, we decided to save it for the new year because it is so good.
It's so funny.
Haley and I weren't a part of this one, but we were in the room when it happened.
Yeah.
And it's chaos on the best level. But it features two of our favorites, iconic anime voice actors, English voice actors, Adam McArthur and Ryan Colt Levy, whom you'll know as Yuji Itadori from Jujutsu Kaisen and Denji from Chainsaw Man.
Icons.
Iconic. They were both great. Leah and Lena Lemon got to talk to them where we're at NYCC. They shared their experience voicing two super popular characters and some other really cool details. We asked them about what anime characters they bring with them on a deserted island. They got crazy.
So good.
But it was amazing. Then we'll be recommending some anime you might not have heard of and having yet another isekai debate.
Let's go.
The debate is never ending.
Always goes.
It's your boy, LeAlec Murray.
And hello, I'm back for the first time in the new year. Let's go. It's me, Haley Weisnant.
And we are here to see just how powerful the effect of anime really is.
Let's go.
Just a little breaking weather update for everyone. As you'll listen to this, the Texas crew may be buried in snow, or we might not.
We don't know.
Who knows?
We have no idea.
Texas is very Texas is very temperamental like that. It's either like we have the 4-year ice storm or we have snow.
Yeah.
And if we have snow, it's not a lot. But
yeah.
All the meteorologists are saying snowpocalypse. So here we go.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen up to like 13 or 14 inches being quoted for the end of this week. And so we'll see. We'll see how it is. It could be nothing. It could be everything. I don't know.
My dog is going to hate that. Oh, boy.
My dog has not experienced snow yet. So if it does snow, we'll see how it goes. But
it's not going to go well.
I don't know. She could like it. But I grew up in Colorado.
Okay.
And so snow is like big for me.
Yeah, I grew up in the Midwest and we always got snow.
Yeah. And I love it. So I figured we could start off with some snow stories.
Snow stories. I remember when I moved, was it the first or second year I moved to Texas? But I think it was like 2008 maybe, like when that first like really bad ice storm came through.
Yeah.
And it was the absolute worst. And I still had to like go into my store and open the store at that time because it was like during a Call of Duty release. And I'm like, why are we here? But people were driving out to get like Call of Duty DLC. I'm like, bro, go home. I shouldn't even be here. Why are you here?
You're like, come back later.
But it was cool because like we had customers that like stuck around and like talked to us. We had customers that like brought us like hot chocolate and stuff too.
Oh, that's
like
nice.
So it was like, they're like, we know you guys have to be here, so we're just gonna bring stuff to you. So it was like, yeah, we appreciated that.
I remember growing up in Colorado as a kid, which I grew up in Colorado Springs. It's definitely one of those places where you'll get a ton of snow in the morning. And so like school will get canceled and stuff like that. And then it'll all melt by the afternoon. So you have a snow day, but there's like barely any snow left.
Right.
But one time it had snowed quite a bit and it was windy. So it had drifted up against the side of my house. And I had a 2-story house. And so I'm an only child also. So I had to figure out things to do with myself sometimes when I was a kid. And so I dug in and it was basically like your own self-made igloo kind of because you could kind of pack it out on the inside and everything. So I had a little like snowdrift igloo on the side of my house. It was so good.
Man, that's cool.
Yeah. So I love the snow. I hope we get a lot of it, but I also kind of don't. We hope we get a lot of it just because Texas is not prepared for that.
Never prepared. I love seeing it. Don't like being in it.
Yeah,
That's
if we
how
were
it goes.
prepared for it, I would love to have it, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Up next, Leah and Lena's conversation with Adam McArthur and Ryan Colt Levy. You really don't want to miss
You don't.
this.
Please stick around for this.
So stick around.
We are so excited to be here with returning guest Adam McArthur and new friend of the show, Ryan Colt Levy.
Let's go.
So you know Adam as Reno Ichikawa from Kaiju number 8 and Yuji Itadori in Jujutsu Kaisen, and you know Ryan as Denji in Chainsaw Man, and you Haibara from Jujutsu Kaisen.
Heavy hitters.
We're here to fight.
Yeah.
We're here to fight.
Oh, that's what we're here for.
Yeah, is that what this is?
Yeah.
Welcome to the anime effect.
Bring in the ring. Bring in the ring. Yeah. Where's the ref? So, Adam, of course, you've already been on the show, so you've answered this already for us. But for Ryan, we like to ask all of our guests what your gateway anime was. So what kind of got you into anime? What it inspired you?
It's kind of a cheat multi-answer, if that's okay.
It's Jujutsu Kaisen.
I went back in time. This is real talk. When I was in 3rd grade on my school bus, there was a kid who was reading the Dragon Ball manga in Japanese.
Oh, really?
So can't read Japanese, but the imagery of those mangas were so like visceral. You know, the hair alone, I was like, whoa, this is cool. So I instantly was like, this was back in the 90s. So I was like, I found people who could get me like, you know, it was on like a VHS, you know, that like someone had bootlegged somewhere. Yeah, I mean, it was just what
Someone
it was.
in a big trench coat opens it up.
Yeah.
By the way, licensed only now.
Yeah.
License only.
This was back in the day, you know. And then the first thing that I saw, like officially, that really kind of brought me into the fold, where I was like, you can do that, was Cowboy Bebop. That changed my life. Yeah.
Cowboy Bebop is a solid.
I've heard
That's
of
a
it.
standard, yeah.
What did you say?
I said, I've heard of it.
I've heard of it.
Oh yeah, just that little indie
that
title.
little one.
So, Adam, since you already answered that question when you were here with us last time, I'm going to throw in. So, we all know, or if you don't, he's a huge Boba fan.
That's what's up.
So,
Do people not know? Wait,
Boba?
hold on. Do people not know
That's
this? Because
awkward.
I feel like this is
You
just
brought
part of
Boba to the
it.
interview? Thank you so much. This is... No?
I'm sorry. Anyways, what is your go-to Boba order?
Okay.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Right now, I'm on this kick of peach green tea with lychee jelly.
Oh,
Phenomenal.
You're always doing some kind of green tea, though. I feel
Sometimes,
like
it's
that's
usually
your,
like,
So
green
you're
tea's my
not
base.
milk tea.
I'm a
You're more
non-milk
for-
tea. I'll do
Gotcha.
sometimes.
The fact that I know this enough
See?
is already...
It's true.
that's cute. That's cute.
Yeah, usually it's some variation of green tea, like maybe a lychee green tea or a peach green tea, but I get it 25% sweet. So it's like, you know, just
I
those.
just
Chills.
get
a
30,
little bit.
but that's
30?
good. Yeah,
That's cool. You know,
that's good level.
Can you do like 32%? Like
No,
when we were
Ryan.
like...
No, Ryan. Listen, Ryan
Don't
is
be a menace.
You listen.
I'm like 32%,
I
actually.
was like 89%.
Yeah.
Ten ice cubes.
I consider myself a little boba bougie, but that would be like
No,
next
I'm more
level.
curious because I feel like 25 to 30 is already... How much of a difference is that?
Well, here's the thing. Some stores do 25 and some stores do 30.
It's true. That's like, you just choose between them.
so
right?
like the same
Okay.
store wouldn't do 25 or 30.
Okay, now I feel a little bit better about
So
life.
if you need boba advice, we've
Hit
got
me
the
up.
experts here.
Hit me up.
All right. So, you have both voiced lead characters on widely popular shows. So Adam, obviously as Yuji Itadori in Jujutsu Kaisen, and Ryan, you as Denji from Chainsaw Man. So I want to ask, what has the cultural impact of these shows meant to you guys?
That's a heavy question.
Yeah, you're like from Boba to this.
Yeah. It's kind of wild because I mean this especially is my first experience having any kind of connection to something this large that people are so deeply resonating with, and I freakishly was a fan before I even got the part, and it's that supernatural thing of it working in my favor that I get to now be a part of, like representing this thing and communicating with fans. I'm a fan first, and to communicate with people all around the country and the world who feel seen because of these characters and feel like they can be more of themselves out in the world, like that's a beautiful privilege. And to know that people are enjoying what we're getting to do is such an honor. So it's really, really trippy and so much fun.
Yeah, it's so cool. Yeah, JJK is like, I don't know, it's a once in a generation show. They just like don't come along very often where everything sort of aligns. Like what I get to do as an actor, it requires a lot of me as an actor, but it's also something I really like. And then it's also really popular with fans. So it's like these three things that come together and have like made it so crazy.
Right.
And same thing. It kind of goes back to the fans and the people and all that kind of stuff. For me, I love a good group activity. I think that's maybe why I like Boba so much. It's like, let's go get a Boba. But it's like, for me, we're all in this together. Like I'm a small part. There's so many more people than the voice actors and the actors that are parts of these shows.
Yeah.
I mean, like what we're doing here today is just as important to me as like what I do for talking about JJK and bringing light to it and stuff like that. So it's cool that we're all just like in this thing that happens to also be really cool that we're getting to participate. But I will say the other crazy thing is how widespread JJK is.
Yeah.
Like before I was on JJK, I was on a Disney series that was wildly popular for what it was. And JJK like has blown that out of the water.
Yeah, it's not even a question.
It's
the culture
crazy.
though of seeing anime in general, I think, become this tidal wave in the last few years that the rest of the entertainment industry just did not see coming in the way that like we as fans of this stuff kind of saw it.
We were like, we knew before it was cool.
But it's so exciting to see it be taken in on such a mass level, and everybody who's been fans from before that are welcoming in new people. I mean, every day we're meeting people who are just finding this stuff for the first time, and they have this wellspring of stuff that they can jump into. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's cool. It's good for all of us too. I mean, it's just like fun to participate in. But when I got to New York Comic Con on day one, I walked in and I was like, what used to be like all comics and you know superhero
Anime's
and everything.
taking over,
It's
right?
like
cosplay.
It's like half at least anime. There's stuff everywhere. And
Did you notice the badges are all anime?
Yeah.
It's not even comics
Most of
this
the
year.
big displays, it's really
Let's
cool.
go.
And just adding on to that question, I know we talked about the insane popularity of these animes, right? Do you feel additional pressure? Since I know there's got to be pressure for any character you play, right? But this extra insane, like huge anime for both of you, do you feel an additional pressure playing?
I don't. I
voicing
know.
your characters?
I feel like I could probably speak for both of us in a way where I don't know that pressure is necessarily the thing as much as it is a responsibility. And I think we both love these things enough to know that it's not just about, hey, can we be cool and do this job and people like us? We're part of the, like there's other actors, there's engineers, directors, writers, so many people involved, the animators in Japan, like everyone involved in making this thing special. And we just want to serve the thing as best we can and be the best we can, to those characters so that anybody out there watching it feels like they're resonating with what they want, and the characters that if they've read the manga, that they go, oh, that's what I was hoping for, whatever that might be. And a part of that is like taking our egos out of it and putting just our hearts into understanding that like we are lucky enough to be in this position. And so to be fearful doesn't help us do our job, but to know that there is a responsibility to be the best that we can is like a powerful tool,
Yeah,
That's
said.
a great answer.
It does have to be surreal, though. I mean, you both said like, you're
crazy.
fans first.
Yeah.
So did you ever thought that you would be portraying these characters at the time when you were reading?
So here's the thing, like doing what I'm doing is something I've dreamed of like since I've been a kid. Like being a voice actor is something I've always wanted to do. So I am of the belief that like if you dreamed it and then you have it, like don't be surprised that you have it. Like you did it. You worked hard for it and stuff like that. So talking about like the pressure and stuff like that, JJK is sort of unique because we started recording in October of 2020. Everyone was still locked down. For me, it was my first anime ever. It was a new studio. It was a new director. It was a new genre. We were at the height of COVID and we were all recording from home at that time. So, the engineers that were at Crunchy Studios were everything was just like, it was a lot of pressure. I felt the pressure at the beginning of JJK. I didn't necessarily feel the pressure. It was more so like, I just wanted to make sure I was doing a good job amongst all this craziness. And then I feel like that sort of, once I realized like, hey, we're all in this together, it kind of eased up and all of that stuff. So, yeah.
We're also really lucky, both of us because you don't get to choose your castmates. Like there's a lot of stuff that you just end up in this thing and you're lucky to be there. And both of us have really amazing casts that we get to be a part of and people that have become our family. And it really does make you feel more confident and comfortable and safe being in that space and doing the work, you know? And then we've become like family because of this stuff too.
That's why we're here to fight today.
Exactly.
Let's go.
That's on the premium version.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Adam, you lived our dreams recently, and I know you knew this question was going to be coming.
Yep.
So we have to talk about your experience working with the Megan Thee Stallion on her song "Otaku Hot Girl." For anybody who isn't familiar, Adam recorded a line for her song as Yuji, and it is everything it gave us live. So how did this come about, and what were your initial thoughts when you kind of heard about this request?
So at the beginning of Otaku Hot Girl by Megan Thee Stallion, we hear, I like a tall woman with a nice big, we'll bleep it, like Grammy winner Megan Thee Stallion. And then she launches into her song that's all about JJK, you can't touch me like Gojo, all this stuff. Listen, I said I've always dreamed about being a voice actor. I've also dreamed about being a rap god. And here we are today.
He's not joking if you think he's joking. He says this all the time.
Yeah, I am living the dream. My next goal is MTV Cribs. Okay.
Of course it is.
I want to just live this life that I've always dreamed to have. No,
the toy room is you're gonna like, this is where the magic happens.
Yeah, exactly.
But how did that come about, that collaboration?
So I can't actually talk about how it came about. I will say that in 2021, when we're all still kind of sitting at home, I was just paying attention to the fandom and all that stuff. And in JJK, Yuji famously says, I'm into girls like Jennifer Lawrence. Yeah. And then later on, he says, I like a tall woman with a nice big asset. Okay. And I noticed that there was some dissension in the fandom about if Jennifer Lawrence fits this description. And I saw a lot of
headcanon.
I saw a lot of people, thought that Megan Thee Stallion might fit it better. So I
put it into your own hands.
I made a parody video on my TikTok and Twitter. It was Twitter at the time. And then redubbed the line to say like Grammy winner Megan Thee Stallion. And that's been on my TikTok with like a couple million views for the last like 3-4 years. Then lo and behold, I'm sitting at home one night and my phone starts blowing up and I'm like, either I did something wrong. Like, why does Twitter hate me now or something? I don't know. I either did something wrong or some project that I did that I don't remember got announced or something like that. And I looked and people were congratulating me and I realized that it had been used on the Megan Thee Stallion song.
Wow.
So,
that must have been crazy.
it's surreal. I mean, it goes back to what we were saying. It's like the reach of anime.
Yeah.
It's no longer this like niche kind of like, you can't really talk about that. You like it. Like Megan Thee Stallion is in Gojo cosplay, singing songs about the show, basically.
At the Anime Awards and JoJo's cosplay.
I witnessed it in person. And
oh
it
my
was
gosh, you're so lucky.
Oh my God, I was like, that is
yeah, which is also crazy. I know you didn't bring me a Boba today, but you told me if you go to the Crunchyroll Awards, you were going to bring me next time. You told me you had to be your plus one. So it's here in media.
Can you stop throwing me under the bus like this?
Wow, but yeah, that must have been like another surreal moment for
so
sure.
Cool. Yeah,
I know when I first heard the opening line, I was like, it blew my mind because I'm a huge Megan fan. People who've been watching the show know I bring her up every time she does anything anime, which is a lot.
Yeah,
just great. Yeah. Oh my God. So, Ryan.
Don't worry, I'm working on a Harry Styles Chainsaw Man collab. No,
that's exactly what I was going to ask. So, Ryan, you played Olmar in Vinland Saga 2. Yeah. And I think this was a show that really did surprise people, considering how it was quite different from season 1, right?
That was a wild part. I did not know when I was going on that journey with Olmar how much of an arc he was going to have, and I feel like I got to experience every wave of emotion as that guy. He was so much fun and exhausting.
So I was going to ask, what was your first impression when you
My first impression is that he was this, he was this total man-child, and it was so much fun to play somebody who is so, clearly so capable and yet did nothing to try and, earn anything that he was in, and they say don't judge your characters and stuff like that, but I actually love.
They do?
I love, well,
He's like,
I judge everything.
I judge
I'm like, this idiot again?
it's a really fun way to like kind of find a way in also
Totally. No, I know what you
and
mean.
find how to play the arc. And like,
Yeah.
I didn't know where his arc was going to go because I didn't read ahead. And I was so pleasantly surprised with how mature he became, how much he kind of like owned up to everything.
Yeah.
And he has some really funny, just like, there's some great scenes of like him being drunk, him being so incredibly sad and like just childish and just there's some great moments that he got to play all these like highs and lows. Super fun.
That does seem like a really fun character. Like his character arc, like redemption, right? Was
which I didn't know was coming. So by the end,
Right.
I was like, validation. Yeah.
I'm not just a man-child.
Yeah, exactly. He can use that sword.
And Vinland Saga itself, it's just such a standout to me because
It's so beautiful.
Yeah, and it's a good rec for people who are just trying to, just get into anime because it's very comparable to sort of like the hero's journey that we see in other popular media, like Game of Thrones or Vikings or whatever. So yeah, I think it's a very like accessible recommendation for people to check out.
It's also pretty brutal though.
Game of Thrones was like not that brutal.
Yeah, if you got through the Red Wedding, you could get through Vinland Saga. But so let's talk a little bit about your processes. So when you're cast in a new role, what is the prep for that like? I know sometimes you've read the material. Do you feel like it's easier to just kind of pop in fresh or, how do you prepare for those roles?
For me, it really depends on the project. Like for something like JJK, when I got cast as Yuji, I was like, all right, MC, like I need to be a well-studied actor. So I've like got to get this manga right away. I need to know the source material. For me, that's really important. I like to have sort of like, so dubbing in general, we're already kind of limited because we're stepping into something already animated and our acting is essentially has to start here and end here. So you're already limited within this space of what you can do. So for me, I like to know where I'm headed. So if I can add any extra nuance in those moments, then I can do that. There are times where we'll get a call the night before at like 8:30 and they're like, hey, we need you in the studio at 9 a.m. We're giving you this role.
Also, and it's not the real title of the thing, so you can't even look it up.
Or it's a show. Or it's a show like I did a show where a character I did came in on episode 17.
Right.
So it's like it's already like 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
I can't watch 17 episodes to figure out what's going to happen or get caught up in the manga. So in those instances, you really rely on the director and the producers and stuff like that to give you context and sort of like when you're thrown in. The cool thing about animation and any VO in general is it's like a team sport. Like when you come in, you can rely on the directors and the engineers for context and stuff like that. So it just sort of depends on what the project is.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the universal experience I think for us.
I'm
is
unique
like,
though.
I'm
just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I don't mean it like that.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
In the sense that I think, I mean, like there was the freakish thing of like I said before, I had already read Chainsaw Man a few times over because I found it during the pandemic and it was there in a way that I didn't know I needed something like that. And so by the time I got the part, I had so many ideas of where I wanted to do things and what I wanted to bring to it. But yeah, there are so many times that you'll get brought into a thing. I recently worked on a project where I had like a day or two's notice and I kept trying to look it up and I couldn't find any information. And I went in and I was like, hey guys, I was trying to do the research on this thing. And they're like, oh yeah, well, it's because that's not the title. And I'm like, makes sense.
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time. Yeah. Fake character names, all this stuff. We're like trying to do our due diligence. They don't tell us
there's
anything.
nothing on it.
But also in a weird way, I mean, as much as the job maybe sometimes we're going in for a thing where it's like a few hours. Sometimes you're going in for 10 minutes to record just a couple of things. And, training as an actor, getting down intention, the craft, all those different layers of it. Like when you do an on-camera thing, you may be filming 10, 15 hours a day, whereas if we go in, it's a totally different kind of short time burst. And you kind of just become, like your instrument becomes, you're really good at instantly deducing what you need to do when you just see the words and the thing and you're like, okay, who am I? Where am I? Where am I going? Where have I been? Got it. And you just kind of jump in. And it's a weird, like, sort of like Swiss Army knife that you kind of have to be. It's like sometimes they need you as a screwdriver, and then you do that take, and they're like, oh wait, actually, can we try it as a knife? And you're like, okay, you know.
Right.
So it's a lot like that.
I'm a
That's
Boba.
interesting.
Yeah, he's a Boba. He's real soft and
throw that
squishy.
in.
Yeah.
I just only try it as a Boba.
They're like, can we get? And you're like, no. That's all I
Kind of
can
like
do.
lychee jelly.
Yeah, they're like, oh, we got it.
You're being very cognac jelly. Can you be a little bit more brown sugar?
Oh my goodness.
But another added element, kind of adding on to what you were saying, is kind of behind the scenes for dub recording. Sometimes you don't even get to hear your co-stars until later on. So it's a whole different skill set to jump into.
Yeah, it's always funny. Like for JJK, some of the more intense scenes in like season 2, I would like text Anne, who voices Novara, or KG's Gojo, and I would say like, have you guys gone in yet? Like, I want to know, like, am I going to be able to rely on what I know you guys are going to bring to the table? Or like, am I the ones kind of like laying the groundwork? Yeah, it's crazy.
And I know a lot of actors, just like the nature of acting is you like to, play off your scene partner. So in those instances when you aren't able to hear, the other person in the scene, how do you, draw your energy for that scene?
I mean, one, we have great directors who we can trust to make sure that they're keeping us in check in the space that we need to be in. And, they have to corral all of the actors. So regardless of when they're bringing in the next person, they got to make sure the energy's balanced either way. But I think a lot of it for me is, like Adam was saying before, we're working off of animation. So it's not like you have to do extreme guesswork on, you see the physicality and you can tell the level of energy you may need to bring. Just because someone's throwing a punch doesn't always mean it's the same level of throwing a punch or whatever that may be. So much of it is really just letting your body be in the animation as much as possible and just trusting that instead of trying to like put something on it,
Well, also we preview it all in Japanese too.
Yeah.
So like we're going line by line or scene by scene, and so we watch it down in Japanese, and obviously the seiyus are amazing.
Yeah.
So they're sort of like
they're setting a tone.
We're doing our version of it, our take, because we got to make it our own too, so it doesn't sound like you're trying to imitate. But at the
and
same
language
time,
to language, the intonation changes.
I was actually going to ask that, but you answered my question. Like, do you watch that first to kind of get an idea?
Yeah.
And like, it must be interesting to try and figure out that balance, right? Of like trying to not imitate, but also imitate, like be as close as you can to the original seiyu, but also adding in your own.
Yeah, for me, I don't try and worry too much about like a vocal quality or like how he sounds. But what I like to make sure that I'm kind of honoring is like the intention or the emotion and like all of that kind of stuff that they're bringing to the table. Because they're just doing such an amazing job, and you want to sort of capture the same spirit. Yuji's such like, especially like, so talking more specifically about Yuji, like him as a character, like we have these like goofy, cute, fun moments.
Yeah.
And then we have the moments where he's like writhing on the floor in the fetal position at his breaking point and stuff like that. So to me it's important, and like every dub act, like all the actors, not just in Japanese, but like Spanish, like all the other languages, we're trying to honor the character in those moments.
That's
So,
okay.
I think that's the thing that I say a lot to people is like all of our job all over the world is to play the character. And if our job is to, mimic another person's performance, we're not doing anything, I think that would make people really care to watch or experience it. The point isn't to go, I'm going to do my own thing. The point is to do what the character needs. And everybody is bringing the version of what they need to that. And I think that's what makes it all unique. We've connected with, the other actors, and it's kind of like this unique camaraderie that you never thought about you having, in a life and in a career, and it's a really special thing to share. So it's a fun, weird challenge, I think, for everybody in different ways.
Yeah, when I meet Junya and Oki, I'm gonna be like, we cried together on the floor, bro. We both cried.
Have you met yet?
No, not yet.
That'll be a fun moment.
I'm looking at all three cameras. I'm looking at all three cameras. You guys get the exclusive.
Yeah.
Okay.
That would be marvelous, actually.
That would be super fun. And I guess another question, a little quick fire one.
Okay.
This one's fun.
This one's a fun question, So if you were stranded on an island for a month,
1 month, okay.
For a month, what 3 anime characters would you bring with you? And we are going to assume there's dangerous creatures that could kill you.
Okay. Dang, are we allowed to pick our own?
Yeah, for sure.
Obviously, I'm bringing Yuji. That's my boy. Obviously, I've got to bring Reno Ichikawa because he's probably going to be, he's going to help the most at like defeating the monsters and stuff like that. He's used to the kaiju.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to say, dang, I should have thought about the third one. I'm going to say, I'm forcing myself to pick a bad one just because, nope, not going to do that.
The internal processing going on right now.
I can see the sorting going on. Like,
you have two characters that can fight for you.
I know. Does anyone make food?
I was going to say.
Who makes food?
Come on.
you get someone from Delicious
I know one.
Dungeon.
I know one.
Ooh.
Luffy. Yeah, I'm going to bring Luffy. Luffy. No, he ate all my food. I'm going to bring... I'll bring Sanji.
Oh my god. Why did that take so long?
I'll bring Sanji. Sorry. Because I really like Luffy. He's my favorite One Piece character.
I was gonna start off.
I was
with
like,
Luffy.
that'd be really fun to hang out.
I was gonna start with Luffy because I was like, he knows probably his way around a deserted island.
deserted island.
That's true. You can have Luffy. I'll take Sanji. There we go. Thank you for the guidance. Boba. Ding. Okay.
So that's one. Pikachu, because we're going to need electricity.
Oh,
that is a good
Wait, that
one.
is so smart.
We got
Big
a
brain
practical
stuff right
thinker.
here.
That's so smart.
And then are you ready for the
logistics.
third? Aki, because he's going to cook and clean and make that island a resort, basically.
Dang, none of you guys can fight. You're all dead.
He can fight.
Yeah, but he's going to be busy cooking and cleaning because
but he-
Ryan has strict standards of what he needs on his island.
Sure, he's overworked. He's actually overworked.
Yeah,
so
see?
funny.
He's going to have
be
electricity.
sleeping.
He's going to be glamping on the island.
Yeah,
Like,
I'll be too busy drowning in the water, be like, guys.
Your mistake is not saying Senku.
Dang it. Well,
That would have been mine.
Next
listen,
island.
yeah, we
That would have
edited
been
in.
mine. You can make everything.
Edited in.
This has been so much fun, you guys. And as we're kind of like wrapping this up, can you share with the fans at home any projects that they can see coming from you next?
Ooh, what's coming next? The things that we can talk about.
know.
Well, we have a confirmed season 2 of Kaiju number 8. Please tune in. If you have not watched Kaiju number 8, it's amazing. Obviously seasons 1, 2, and the movie of JJK. Please go watch those. Season 3 coming soon. We'll see. Yeah, keep an eye out.
Yeah, also there's a lot I can't talk about, but obviously really, really excited about hearing more news about the movie coming out. And
What movie, Ryan?
well, it's the Chainsaw Man Reze movie.
Okay.
Gosh, there's a lot I want to say, but I can't yet. Tower of God Season 2 is still running, and that is a crazy adventure. But yeah, more adventures ahead for sure.
Awesome.
Thank you guys so much for having us.
No, thank you for
Thank you.
coming.
You guys are awesome.
Friends
Thank
of the
you.
show forever.
Thanks for the
of
great
course.
questions. You guys
Oh,
are
I
the
love you,
best. The best part.
But yeah, thank you guys so much for
That's so
tuning
cute.
in. Definitely check out those shows and more on Crunchyroll. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Cheers, y'all.
I think that interview was probably funnier seeing it the second time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Seeing
Absolutely.
it live and like listen, we've got to have these guys back on the show because these dudes are like, and I think it's because they know each other so well.
Uh-huh.
Like they're absolute cut ups. Like they were just clowning the entire time. Like it was probably the best interview we did at NYCC because it was like,
It was
really,
so chill.
It was so chill. It was really informal. Like they weren't really like here to promote anything. They were just like, hey, we're just hanging around and we'd love to be on the show. And like they always have like tons and tons of great energy.
They're both, they're so funny.
Yeah, those dudes are hilarious. Shout out to Adam and Ryan. You guys are definitely welcome back anytime. But now it is time. Who is time for recommendations?
Let's go.
First one of the year.
Yeah. I'm going to ask this one just because it gives me more time to think of an answer.
You're like,
It's
I
really-
need you to fill airspace while I get my answer.
So the AC asked via our question form. Thank you for filling out the question form.
We appreciate it.
What series do you think is most slept on that you have also slept on?
Link Click. People would like tell me about how good Link Click was.
Let's go.
And I'm like, it can't be that good. Like, mostly because I hadn't really gotten into Donghua as it was. Like, and I was like, and really didn't even know what it was until I started working here. And,
Right.
like, when I started actually working on the account, I was like, oh, I guess I should watch it. This is like many years after season 1. And when I finish it, I'm like, hello? Hello? Is there more? Hello?
Hello.
And then we got the opportunity to work with Howlin at AX and
So
did
good.
the premiere for season 2. And the place was packed and like everybody was just like on the edge of their seats. And then when the episode ends, they're like, whoa!
Oh my
So
God, the crowd was so good.
Crowd went insane. It was probably one of the best AX moments I've had outside of, being able to host last year. But Link Click is definitely the answer here for me because for being an original story, and I have no idea how like Howlin and his team like thought about this series. Like it's just no like idea. It's absolutely like it'll pull you in one direction and then pull you in the next one. And then I don't want to spoil anything, especially because the end of season 2, you get to the end of season 2 and your heart drops into your stomach and you're like, are you joking? Like I got up. The only other time I've done this in recorded history was when I played Last of Us Part 1 for the first time. And I played through the first hour. But I got up. Like I literally had to pause the game. I got up, I left my house, got dinner, came back 3 hours later and was like, I guess I'll start playing now, but I'm sad. Season 2 of Link Click did the exact same thing. Like as soon as I watched the last episode, I got up out of my office, was walking around the house. I was like, I cannot deal because I need answers.
Yeah. Oh, the reveal in the last episode of season 2
is insane. It was insane.
I had to go back and rewatch the last episode of season 2 because the first episode of Bryden Arc, which is coming out now, it started in a way to where I was like, I don't think that's how season 2 ended. And so like I had to go back and rewatch the last episode of season 2, and it just like brought all those feelings back up again. And I was just like,
it was such, like guys, like if you guys have not watched Link Click, like seriously,
do
like,
it.
I'm here on behalf of the Church of Link Click. Please watch this series. It's especially if you like sci-fi, like thriller, mystery stuff. This is so up your alley.
Oh, it's so good.
All right,
so
that was mine.
I figured mine out.
Okay.
It took me a minute, but I figured it out, which is Natsume's Book of Friends.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen that one. I know Nick has talked about it a couple times. I haven't seen that one.
I'm not fully caught up because there's like 8 seasons or whatever.
Yeah, didn't like season 7 like just came out or something?
Yeah. I've gotten through like the first season and a half probably. It's such a chill show, but it's like one of those where it's relaxing but also has like stakes to it and things like that. It's so funny because it is obviously an extremely popular series. It's got 7 seasons or whatever. But it's just like, I don't ever feel like anybody's talking about it. Like nobody, at least that I know of been working here, has really watched it and stuff like that. So I think that's probably one where I would say like, it was definitely slept on. It took me a long time to even, get to it. And even then, like I've only gotten through a season and a half and stuff like that. So yeah, I think my answer is Natsume's Book of Friends.
I have to put that one on the list with everything else.
I know, it's just like the ever-growing list.
Right. We also have a recommendation from the fans, from Tony Choni Chopper via the Apple Podcast.
Great name.
It's an amazing name. Best One Piece character. Fight me. Actually, don't fight me. Fight the wall. I just started your show and I'm hooked after a couple episodes.
Yay,
Thank
welcome.
You, Tony. I wanted to recommend Black Clover because I just started it and it's already so good.
Oh, Black Clover.
Black
so
Clover
good.
is goated. Again, fight the wall. Like this is something you should be watching.
I remember I was watching Black Clover when it first started airing, and I remember that's when everybody was like, "Oh, he screams all the time." Blah blah. It's like so does every shonen protagonist.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
every shonen MC screams or cries. Every single one of them.
It just gets so good. When it was airing, I dropped off for a little bit, but I still remember I saw like clips that we were posting and stuff like that, and I was just like, "Oh my god, this animation looks so cool!" Like some of Asta's fights look amazing and stuff like that. And so then getting back into it, I was just like, "Oh."
We're going to hear from Tony again in our mailbag. So stick around for the rest of it.
Teaser.
That's because we're going to have that isekai debate. So that's why we're going to hear from him again. But we have more recs.
Yeah.
Layden via our question form. I recommend Future Diary, Charlotte, ReZero, Viral Hit, Hyoka. I haven't seen that one. And Ohana, 91 Days, Classroom of the Elite, and more. I want to know what that more is. That's a lot.
It's a lot of bangers already.
It's a lot of bangers. I actually just started watching ReZero.
Okay.
Like a couple months ago. I'm really enjoying it. Subaru, I feel sorry for you, my mans. Like that's ooh.
I remember season 1. I was like, really? Again?
Yeah. Again? And then Viral Hit's good as well too. Viral Hit is great.
I've been meaning to check out Viral Hit.
Yeah, it's really good, especially if you like the webtoon. It's really good. And 91 Days is actually on my list currently. So
91 Days is on my list. Classroom of the Elite, I've watched all of. I kind of like those weird like cerebral shows where there's like literally there's basically no action in the entire show. It's just them like it's a lot of mental action.
Right. Mental gymnastics.
So I love shows like that. Future Diary is one of those shows I have never watched, but I know of just from like general anime culture knowledge. And so I know a lot about Future Diary. Obviously, it's an iconic series and I definitely understand why people love it.
And I think Charlotte has come up a couple times.
Yeah.
Like I think I saw somebody mention that before. Do you want to take the next one?
Sure. So My Little Ponfar.
Welcome back.
Hello.
Haven't heard from My Little Ponfar in a while.
Via our question form. Again, love the question form. As a follow-up on the question about anime musicals, I have to throw in a recommendation for Mamoru Hosoda's movie Belle.
Oh, yeah. That one kind of crept under the radar when it came out.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet, but it's on my list.
Yeah.
If Leah has been looking for more anime with some big, showy tunes, then you can't think of anything else that would better fit the bill. Thanks for all your hard work on the podcast. There have been some amazing interviews and features over the weeks, and I always enjoy listening.
Oh, thank you, Ponfar. I love that people are like coming in, discovering us, and they want to stick around.
Yeah. I'm curious, actually. Anybody who wants to put in the comments or in the question form or anything, let us know how you found us.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just curious.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's always like, I know how I find certain podcasts, and then I'm like, how do people find our podcast?
Let us know how you got here. Let us know.
But yeah, Belle's on my list. I love Hosoda's films in general. So that's just one where I haven't had the time to get to it yet, but it's on the list. I know my Android TV keeps like popping it up like, you want to watch it? You want to watch it? And I'm like, I don't have time right now. Okay, Lee. It's been a while since one of these has been on the show, but it's time for another isekai debate.
It definitely will not be the last one because Nick is going to hear this and he's going to be like, and we're going to have to do it all over again.
I have opinions. Let's open the mailbag.
Time for the mailbag. Our first invisible mailman of the year comes in and dumps mail on our table.
Little mail slot.
Here you go. Tony Chopper, again, via Apple Podcasts, says, I'm sorry, Nick, but no, Shangri-La Frontier is not an isekai. Smiley face.
The smiley face really does.
Smiley face is diabolical. And he's right.
I have not been here for any of the discussions so far, the debates, but I agree with Shangri-La Frontier. It's not an isekai.
It's not. I'm telling you, like the prerequisite for an isekai is if you were trapped somewhere and you cannot get out, or you were reincarnated somewhere and you cannot leave.
I think there's one exception to that.
You talking about Sasa Peeps?
No. Well, maybe Sasa Peeps also applies to this. I cannot remember what the show was called for the life of me. There was a show a few seasons ago where it was this girl who could go back and forth from like a fantasy world and her own world. And she would like get a bunch of gold in the fantasy world and then bring it back and then be like really rich or vice versa.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
I don't remember the title,
but
the name of the title.
That I think is the one example where it's like she is actually going to a different world. It's not just like I'm in my VR headset.
Yeah, because even
then she
like
comes back.
But even like Sasa Peeps, where it's like, even though it's considered an isekai, like he goes back and forth. So it's like, there are some exceptions.
I think if you
to the rule.
physically actually go to the other place, it can be an isekai. But Shangri-La Frontier, where you're just like, I'm locked into the VR world or whatever. No, doesn't count.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, our producer put in saving 80,000 gold in another world for my retirement. That's exactly what it was.
there you go. There you go.
Yeah, but that is an isekai.
Yeah, totally an isekai. Shangri-La, which has been great if you guys haven't been keeping up. It's not an isekai. The man's can take off his headset and have dinner with his family.
Yeah, no, it's just a gaming.
Yeah.
It's a gaming show.
Yeah.
But Sung Yeon Ho via Apple Podcasts also says, by the way, Sword Art Online is not an isekai. In which case, we have to specify.
Yes, we gotta. There's a caveat here.
Specify. And there will be people who will still say any of Sword Art Online is not an isekai.
Right.
But if we're going by our logic, which we are, because we're the hosts here, hello, welcome. OG Sword Art Online, the first half of season 1. Is because
Correct.
he is trapped, and then everybody, it's one of the you die in the game, you die in real life situation.
Right.
Second half, Alfheim, I believe they could come out of.
Yes, they could.
And so does not count.
Correct.
Gun Gale, I did not watch, so I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't watch.
And then Alicization, which was the last kind of few seasons, Kirito was stuck.
Mm-hmm.
So for Kirito, it was an isekai, but the others could come in and out.
Right.
So
there's some isekai timey-wimey is happening here. But yeah, no, that's very specific. But here's an interesting one. Matthew asks, is Dragon Ball Daima an isekai?
Now, you're going to have to answer this one because you're the Dragon Ball guy, and I have not been watching Daima.
Mm-hmm.
So what about Daima could make it an isekai?
I think because of there's a portion of the story where they have to go to hell essentially.
Okay.
But then they are traveling to other dimensions and other planets.
Mm-hmm.
But because they're trying to get the Dragon Balls back so they can not be
Don't they do that in all the Dragon Ball shows?
Yeah. Though? So I could see the logic of it maybe being an isekai because you're doing some realm crossing. But no, I think it would probably lean more into, if we're going to be a little more technical, I think it probably leans a little more into the fantasy bit of it. It's a little more fantasy. The original Dragon Ball was very much an adventure series.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you get to Z was also very much an adventure series, but it's a little more traditional battle shonen.
Right.
Up until the end of Super.
Yeah.
And then Daima is more adventure, but kind of leaning more into the fantasy bit.
Okay.
Because even though there is some of course, it's still going to be an action shonen, it's still going to have your battles, but then there's a lot of travel and magic and stuff that happens in it as well too. So I think it leans a little more into the fantasy adventure bit and less of the adventure isekai bit.
And I think when it comes to traveling to other locations within your known universe or something like that, it becomes a little less isekai. And I'm thinking of this also in the Gundam sense or something like that, where it's yes, they technically go to other planets, like Iron-Blooded Orphans, they start on Mars, they go to Earth, they go other places and things like that. But I don't consider that an isekai.
Right.
So I think when you're traveling to other places within your known universe and you're doing it purposefully, maybe that's where it's not an isekai anymore. It's
but I can see it. But I can see it.
Yeah.
I see that.
I definitely get the question.
Yeah, it's a legit question. I can see it.
And then John via our question form again, hello, Escaflowne.
Oh.
It was such an underrated anime, and it's mech suits in a fantasy world, but I don't know if it's an isekai or not. What are your thoughts?
One, that's a name I haven't heard in a very long time. So John was just core memory unlocked. Thanks, buddy. I'm going to give you the official cosign here. Escaflowne is an isekai.
It is?
Hit the isekai button on that one.
Okay.
Yeah. Because main character gets transported to another world that has mechs and war and all this stuff. So again, following the guidelines, if you get reincarnated or teleported to somewhere that you cannot leave, barring some conditions in the fine print,
right?
It counts as an isekai. So I think Escaflowne is, but I think they can. I think it's officially, I guess, kind of categorized as a fantasy.
Okay.
But I also think at the time that Escaflowne came out,
isekai
wasn't even really a genre that we were talking about. There may have been some isekai titles that were out there, but were not classified as such.
Yeah.
But I would say so. I'll give it the isekai button seal of approval. So.
Okay. And just because it said mechs in, we were talking about isekai, shout out to recreators.
Yeah.
Can't watch it anywhere legally right now, which is unfortunate. Thanks. But great show. And that had mechs, and it was all these fancy characters getting pulled into our world. It's like a reverse isekai sort of situation. So good.
Thank you, everyone, for dropping in your questions, your comments. If you want to be a part of this little discussion, the mailbag, the recommendations, all that, a couple ways you can do it. Apple Podcasts, make sure you do your 5-star review, leave a comment.
Yep.
Spotify, make sure you leave your comment. YouTube, leave the comment.
Thumbs up,
subscribe,
ring the
all
bell.
that, And last but not least, go to our question form. It is got.cr/anime effect questions. Again, it is got.cr/anime effect question.
So good. We love the form.
We do. Haley, you want to take us out?
Yeah. Thanks everybody for joining us on another episode of The Anime Effect, brought to you by Crunchyroll and Sony Music Entertainment. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode.
The Anime Effect is hosted by me, LeAlec Murray, Haley Wiseman, Leah President, and Papa Nick Friedman, who is on his way back. We're gonna get that counter happening. It's gonna happen.
He just has to take like one step a day, so it's just taking a really long time for him to get back.
with baby in hand. We are executive produced by Jonathan Hurst, Joanna Clay, and Papa Nick Friedman. Our lead producer is Kyla Carnero, and our associate producer is Zoe Culkin. Vince Garza filmed, and Pixelworks edited the video. Our head of production is Sammy Allison. Special thanks to Carla Solorzano and Tamika Balance-Kolasny.
We'll be back next week with more anime, of course. See you then.
There's nothing you can do about it.
Nothing.
First one of the year, y'all. All right. Later days.
Bye.
Adam,
Yes.
totally not just because you're here or anything, but look at these nails I have.
Sukuna nails? You themed your nails?
On brand.
Okay.
But
Totally not because you're a magical girl or anything. Look at my socks.
Oh my gosh, it's so perfect.
Wait.
Oh,
yeah,
we got the 3D moment too.
With the whiskers.
It totally is because I'm a magical girl,
It is.
obviously.
Yeah, so you are suited up for the con.
I'm fitted, I'm ready.